Before we get started, make sure to turn on post notification and subscribe to the channel. 10 superstars who will be out of WWE. Number 10. Dolph Ziggler. People have been talking about Dolph Ziggler finishing with WWE for years now, and every single time the conversation comes up, it seems like WWE gives him a major push in order to not make it happen. Right now, Ziggler is undergoing another of his major pushes, working alongside Drew McIntyre as one half of the Raw Tag Team Champions. But that doesn't mean that he's set to be a long-time member of the WWE roster. Ziggler has achieved everything he possibly could in WWE, and if he's able to go and chase his other dreams, that is an option he may very well take when his contract comes to an end. Number 9. Bray Wyatt. When he first burst onto the scene as the leader of the Wyatt family, it seemed like Bray Wyatt was going to be one of the major stars in the company with elements of The Undertaker and a cult-like leader gimmick. Everything was in place for him. However, the issue for Wyatt was that while he was an incredible talker and could sell any feud to the WWE universe, when it came to getting the job done in the ring, he never managed to get the job done and always ended up losing. He has had the opportunities working in the main events as a WWE champion, a run which ultimately fell to a disappointing end, and it seems like all the buzz has really worn off Wyatt, which could see his future in jeopardy. Number 8. Rowan. Speaking of the Wyatt family, another member of the group that might be making his way out is Rowan, who is currently sat on the shelf with an injury, one that cost him and Harper the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. WWE has tried to invest in Rowan plenty of times, but it seems like the company and the WWE universe only care about Rowan when he is in a team, either as a stable or with Harper on their own. But when he is a singles wrestler, he doesn't gain a reaction. With Rowan set to be out for several months, the chances are that WWE will be doing something else with Harper, meaning he might not be able to team up upon Rowan's return, and without that, he might be on his way out. Number 7. Aleister Black. He might be a former NXT champion that's certainly one of the best in-ring workers that WWE has on its roster, but that doesn't mean that he's destined for success in the company, as many former NXT talents have failed to make a mark. Aleister has a very mysterious gimmick that might not translate well onto the main roster, despite how much fans might support him. Seeing how major stars such as Finn Balor and Shinsuke Nakamura have failed to reach the main event heights is a clear sign it isn't always a path to glory, with Aleister having a very distinct look that isn't what Vince McMahon typically goes for, and the face that he isn't a great promo guy. The future for him is certainly going to be tough, and his WWE career might end up fading to black. Number 6. Andrade Cien Almas. Speaking of former NXT champions who might not be sticking around in WWE for a long time, Andrade Cien Almas is another top superstar who may not end up clicking on the main roster in the way other people think that they will. Almas has been given some great opportunities in terms of working against top talent such as AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan, but since he has moved to the main roster, Almas hasn't even been given one storyline to actually work. It's not a great sign for his future if he hasn't been provided any real opportunities, meaning that Vince McMahon hasn't quite brought into his character yet, which is never a great sign for someone in the long term. Number 5. Brock Lesnar. The Beast's future in WWE is certainly in question moving into 2019, with many expecting Brock Lesnar to walk away. While Lesnar might make an appearance at WrestleMania 35 simply to help sell tickets for WWE, it's clear he has his eyes set on something else. Lesnar will be returning to the Octagon and going back to UFC next year, and considering how seriously he takes his time in MMA, it is very unlikely he'll be risking any possible injuries competing in WWE. Having already achieved everything there is to achieve in wrestling, there isn't anything left to keep bringing him back, and with many WWE fans starting to tire of seeing multiple suplexes in every match, his time in wrestling might be up. Number 4. Matt Hardy. Sadly, this one seems surreal, with Matt Hardy's years of being an extreme wrestler, diving from great heights and crashing through tables, catching up with him as his body is simply no longer able to continue performing. He has teased it countless times online and even posted a video claiming that he's now retiring, moving back home to spend time with his family. Of course, with Matt, no one ever knows, as he's often doing everything he can to surprise fans. But if Hardy's being true to his word, then that means that Hardy's career is coming to an end, and while he might soon be working behind the scenes to help push future talents inside the ring, it seems to be over for him. Number 3. Bobby Lashley. When Bobby Lashley was first making his return to WWE, there was high expectations for him, with most fans expecting him to become a main event player, just like he was the last time he worked for the company. After improving his skills away from WWE in TNA, where he was incredibly entertaining, most fans thought he would fit into WWE even better than before, and that a dream match against Brock Lesnar might finally take place. However, it has been anything but plain sailing for him since returning, with Lashley failing to make any real impact and falling further and further down the card with each feud he gets placed in, which is why it wouldn't be a surprise to see him leave once again. Number 2. Baron Corbin. The Lone Wolf has had a very up and down relationship with his booking since being put onto the main roster, seeming like he was going to break into the main event scene with the Money in the Bank briefcase, only to lose and find himself at the bottom of the card. Lately, he has been relishing in a role as a general manager, but the problem with that is that it won't be a long time deal, as eventually WWE will want someone else in the role, such as Kurt Angle when he comes back to WWE. When that does happen, it becomes obvious that Corbin will once again slip down the card, and with it being clear that WWE doesn't see him as a top superstar, it will not be a surprise to see him released. Number 1. Braun Strowman. This one might seem ridiculous, with Braun Strowman currently being one of the biggest stars in the company, but even though he's doing a tremendous job right now, WWE seems to be lacking confidence in him to push him all the way. The monster amongst men was the most popular wrestler in the company not so long ago and seemed to be the obvious person to defeat Brock Lesnar, but instead, WWE opted for Roman Reigns, and now as a heel, Strowman's going to miss out on the title again due to WWE's obsession with Reigns. Those issues may eventually cause problems for Strowman, and the fact that Vince McMahon's obsession with big guys, such as the Great Khali, always tend to cool eventually. How long Strowman's push could actually last in the first place remains to be seen.